Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pacific Standard, guys. My name is Carter Briggs, and with me, as always, are my co hosts, Abel Stoika
How's it going, everybody?
and Mason Winter.
Hello.
Today, we're going to be talking about Abel, what year is this movie from?
2008.
2008 Danny Boyle film, Slumdog Millionaire. We're gonna move into our first segment. We're adding segments to the show because we're fucking professional. We're professional and good at this. What's going on? Mason, do you want to tell us what's going on?
Basically, when I was from like elementary to middle school, no Wi-Fi, basically slumming it, just like Jamal.
I disagree.
Yeah. But so like my media that I had at my mom's house was just this box of movies we had. So I would just like troll through this box of movies and look for gems. And one of the ones that I really enjoyed when I was growing up was this movie. It's about a kid growing up in India with his brother. Jamal is the protagonist, and Salim is his older brother. From the start, life's rough. But the way that this movie is told, I always found like super fascinating because the main character goes on the Indian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And the problem is he knows all of the answers to these questions, and all these other contestants, doctors, lawyers, whoever, they never make it past like 16,000 rupees. And he's made it to millions of rupees. And the runners of the show are like, we think you're cheating somehow. So he's being held by the police and interrogated to try and figure out how he knew all the answers to these questions. And through him telling the police interrogator how he knew the answers to all these questions, it tells the story of his life. How he and his younger brother grew up in abject poverty in the slums, and how they eventually made it out after they watched their mom get killed in front of them. We'll go over that later. They made it out of the slums, and they were eventually found living homeless in a junkyard by this criminal who took them in. And he had these whole ring of kids who he sent out to as beggars to beg for money, and then they would return and he would make money through all these little kids. And eventually Jamal, the protagonist, was going to be mutilated, and Salim, the older brother, was like, we can't be having that. So they had to run from the criminal, and they were eventually homeless again, and they made it to the Taj Mahal, yada yada. Jamal, the whole time, has been focused on a girl they met named Latika, who is still with the criminal who was running the gang of children. She tried to escape with them, but she was too slow. She got captured. They made it. But the whole time, Jamal's been about, let's get back to the city so we can find Latika. And they finally get back to the city. They find Latika. Whole craziness ensues. Salim wants to be a criminal. He wants to be a gangster. He goes down that road. Jamal goes down the hard-working road. He eventually makes his way to a call center, which is where he finds his way onto the Indian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But the whole time, everything that Jamal is doing, he's just trying to make it back to this girl, Latika. And I always thought Danny Boyle, the director, he told the story in a fascinating way.
I feel like this movie's strength, like its biggest strength, is just how it tells the story. Like when it starts, he's already on the show answering the first question, and then it's like cutting forward to when he's getting like interrogated about it, and then it's cutting backwards to where he found all the answers to these questions. And I think that's just the best part about this movie. Like if it didn't have that mixed up like order with all the scenes and everything, it would not be as strong of a movie. And Danny Boyle's like cinematography of just all these Dutch angles and all these really overexposed, really colorful, like yellow tinted shots just really adds to this like chaotic world that he grew up in, and just the absolute chaos it was to get to where he is today, and then kind of show his end goal basically of getting back to this girl and ignoring his brother basically. Yeah, I thought this movie was really unique. I haven't seen it in a long time. My parents loved it when it came out. I remember they played the soundtrack a lot. That was my introduction to Paper Planes by MIA, just an absolute banger. I love this movie. My parents had it on DVD, so I watched it there.
Yeah, I have a couple thoughts on this movie. First, that it's great. It's a great movie. Second thought on this movie is fuck Salim.
He
Yeah,
has like a
fuck-
redemption at the end, but it doesn't redeem
it's such
everything.
a weak redemption. In my opinion, it is a weak as piss redemption.
It's just kind of like we had to do something.
Yeah. We can't have this guy be the worst character, and we have to make it so that these two at the end do like they end up together.
Yeah.
But like Salim through this whole movie, piece of shit. He's the reason. What's her name? This is the first time I've seen this movie. So what's the woman's name? What's her?
Latika?
Latika.
Yeah, the love interest, Latika.
He's the reason she doesn't catch up. Like she catches up, she grabs his hand, and then he lets go. Like he's the reason they all get separated. Once they do find her, he fully assaults her. Like he's the biggest piece of dog shit. He fully assaults her, and then he basically
kicks the protagonist. He kicks his brother out of the room, and then proceeds to assault her.
Yeah.
The protagonist's love interest.
Yes.
The whole reason they came back to the city.
Yes. So he assaults her, and then he basically fucking like throws her and pimps her out to his gangster boss, right?
Yeah.
Is the read I got. And like he's just such a and then he fucking cuts her face at the end when she runs away. And then that's the only thing he like apologizes for. At the like when he like lets her go. He's like, "Please forgive me for all I've done." And he like kind of like gently touches the scar on her face from where he cut her with a knife. And I'm like, dude, that's probably the least bad thing you did. You know what I mean? Like, of the things you have done to this woman, this awful thing is the least bad thing you did. You fucking suck. And I'm glad you died in a tub full of money for some reason.
Yeah, I wasn't really aware of what that was all about.
The thing I do love about this movie is its depiction of poverty there's never a big speech about poverty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody in a lot of like lesser movies, there's a big speech where someone goes, "Poverty is evil." Right? But this movie just shows it, and it's awful. It's just a terrible life sentence, basically. And it's like these kids are poor because their mother was fucking murdered in front of them for the crime of having a different religion. You know what I mean?
That's what I said. Yeah, she was killed for the reason for simply believing what their parents taught them, and for her believing most likely what her parents taught her.
She's murdered for it, and then these boys are on their own, and they treat them like scum. Like everyone treats them like scum for being poor, you know?
Yeah.
Which is just, it's true to life. Poor people are treated like shit. They are beat by like 20 different adults in this movie. Like all they do is get beat by adults, and not just like the gangsters and the antagonists, but just like random people in the street will start beating the shit out of them. And it's just like seen as totally fine because they're poor. And there's no big speech. It just depicts it. And I think it's like, it really makes you go, holy fuck.
I think it's interesting how like he is kind of like he's on this show where it's kind of like the premise is just make a bunch of money, like, but he's there to find the girl, which is what you discover later on. Like the money's nice, but he only went on it because the girl watches the show. I think that's interesting to contrast with the brother who wants to be successful, and throughout the whole movie is they get like adopted by the gang leader who has them out there getting money, and the brother's like, "Oh yeah, we just got to grind harder. Like if you hold this baby, you'll make more money, and you have to do it. You'll make double or triple or whatever." And like he's just totally buying into the gang philosophy, and it kind of shows how like alluring that lifestyle can be to someone who is really has no other options other than like I can try to make an honest living and kind of suffer through it for a while, or I can do this like criminal activity because it's just there. Like I'm already part of it. And I think that contrasts really well with Jamal's perspective of just like I'm not gonna get involved in this. I'm trying to find her again.
I think I like it because Jamal does get involved. He runs the scams too, right? Like the Taj Mahal sequence is all about them
Yeah.
scamming tourists, but he's not willing to hurt people. Where
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
brother is fully willing to abuse and hurt people for his own gain. Jamal is like, well, they asked for a tour. I fucking gave him a tour. So what if all the information is incorrect? That's not my fucking fault. You know what I mean? Like, like
It starts in the beginning when like the first time you see the kids is the question that he gets asked on the show is like, who is the lead actor in this famous movie from like the 70s or the 80s?
Mhm.
And the reason he knows the answer is because that celebrity visited his slums, and the flashback is showing us that.
Oh my god,
the
the-
poop scene.
that scene literally made me gag. I literally retched when he jumps in and he comes out. I thought he was just gonna it was just gonna be ankle deep or whatever. But oh my god.
And the whole like the entire body of water must have been like filled with shit.
Don't
Like,
even.
Wretched.
I can't even.
because he could just, if there was like water that he could have just like cleaned off and over to the side, he probably would have, but it probably was way too far out of the way.
Okay, falling in the poop was how Jamal cleared the crowd and got the autograph, though.
Yeah.
And then his brother sold it because he's a piece of shit.
That's the two things we already see in the beginning is Salim lock Jamal in the outhouse and steal the autograph that he gets. So you already know that like this sort of dynamic is going to be there where the older brother takes advantage of the younger brother. But it's not till
Yeah.
they meet Maman, like the crime boss, who notices Salim's cruelty and decides to kind of have him as his little like watchdog to keep all the
Oh.
kids in line.
He starts grooming him to be his enforcer.
Yes.
And he just Salim immediately is like, yep, that's awesome.
That's me.
Like, he only runs away from this situation because the gangster was like, all right, we're going to scoop your brother's eyes out now.
The gangster would mutilate the children who were his beggars on the streets in order to garner more sympathy and earn more money.
Yeah.
So he would blind kids or cut off a hand or other crazy, wild crap.
Mm-hmm. Another great depiction of like the cycles of poverty in this movie is the game show host. The game show host tells him in like the bathroom at one point. He tells him in the bathroom at one point, I'm from the slums too. Like the only person to really make it out of the slums like this is me. And he tells him he's rooting for him. And you see the producers of the show love it, right? But we know from the flash forwards that Jamal's being tortured by the police to like get the information of how do you know these answers, right? It turns out that the fucking game show host is the one who called the cops because the producers the whole time are loving it. They're like, this is great fucking TV. People got to win a game show every 20 times or else nobody watches and nobody signs up for the game show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're like, this is great TV. We're getting 2 whole fucking episodes out of this. This is awesome. And the host calls the cops because he's like, this is my show. Like, nobody can take this away. Like, he can't outshine me. And it is like this weird thing that happens in a lot of poverty-stricken communities where it's like you don't want anyone to be better than you, even though it doesn't affect you. You're not any worse off because someone is doing better for themselves, right?
Yeah.
But it's this weird cycle. And again, Danny Boyle doesn't like have a speech about it. He just showcases a character participating in that behavior. You know what I
He
mean?
lets you like kind of feel it and come to those conclusions yourself, which I think is really admirable. And a like filmmaker is not beating the audience over the head with the message and kind of leading you to the right place where there is really no other conclusion to come to, but you also did the work as a viewer.
Yeah. No, it's great. Like, this movie is ostensibly a love story, right?
Yes.
In terms of how the story and the motivations of the characters, but really it's a depiction of, from a film standpoint, it is a depiction of poverty, like the extreme poverty that happens in India and all over the world, really. But the depiction is of India.
Yeah, this specific one, this
Yeah.
example is in India.
And it's supposed to, like, the film is literally purposefully just, this is what poverty is, and these are the people you treat like shit on a daily basis. And maybe you should re-examine your behaviors and your preconceptions of poverty, right? But he does it through a love story that everybody's like, this love story is gut-wrenching. This is off. I feel bad. I did not feel good in this movie until the very end. And even then, I'm like, somebody's going to kill him. Somebody's going to kill him because he's out on the street and he has a check for, what is it at the end? 20 million rupees?
Yeah, I think so. Which I never did the conversion on. I don't know.
Oh, I did the conversion.
Sweet. What is it?
Let's see. I did it adjusted for inflation.
Right.
So these are 2008 rupees to dollars we're talking about.
2005, I think, is when the movie is set, or 2004. So I did 2005. I actually did the conversion during the movie before I didn't realize it was going to go to 20 million. I thought it was just 10 million. So guess how many rupees that would be today? 20 million.
How many rupees it would be today, not how many dollars it would have been then?
Yeah.
Okay. 20 million rupees today.
I can do the other one too afterward.
Mason, what do you got?
34.
I have a much more awful view of the world, so I'm going to go...
Okay.
I'm going to go 47.
It would be 71.
Oh my God! What the fuck did you just say?
Yeah, this ain't the American dollar we're talking about.
Holy shit! Oh my God!
Let's see how much that would be worth in USD today. So if it's 71 today, that would be $837,000.
Oh my God, that's not a lot of money. I don't like, not to be this guy, but that simply is not that much money.
No, but like the currency also has to probably it's got to go a longer way there.
It's definitely more money than it is here.
Yes.
There. That's still like you still have to work your whole, you know what I mean? You can now afford something like a house, but you still have to work for the rest of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's also like when you hear about people who are like, I want $1 million. Like $1 million is life changing, but it's not like you can stop working.
No, it is like I do.
You're no longer like balling. You're just like you're just, I got like a bunch of money.
Your friends are just like, you see Rick got a boat?
You're like, you buy a house, you buy like a modest house, and then you're like, no, I got this steak dinner. Don't you worry about it, boys. That's what $1 million is.
I believe at the time, that amount of rupees in USD would be about $500,000.
Jesus Christ. You know that something is bad when I undercut how bad it is. Just for the listeners, little note about me. And Mason and Abel, I think you can attest to this. I have very little faith in this planet. I don't think it usually does the correct things. But God, 20 million rupees was 74 rupees? 74 million rupees?
71.
Oh my God. I feel kind of sick. In 20 years?
Yeah. Or 19, yeah. Well, 20. Yeah, 20.
Jesus Christ. Fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm over it.
Did you guys ever hear about, I think it was a country in Africa. I want to say Zimbabwe. It might be a different country, but the country that entirely based its currency off of the US dollar. I don't even know. I'm not an economist. I'm not an economist. I don't know how this all works. They made it the exact same value as a United States dollar. And then immediately it just skyrocketed. So $1 was now like 100,000 Zimbabwe dollars. or whatever. And it just kept going. And then you could start selling like Zimbabwe bills that said like $100,000 or like $1 million or whatever.
Oh
for,
wait,
like,
I
20
think I heard
bucks.
something about the Zimbabwe dollars.
Yeah. It was like a novelty item that Americans would buy just because it was such a ridiculously high like amount of money for one single bill. Like kind of like yen, I feel like.
I think it is. Yeah, I'm looking at a dollar. I'm looking at a bill that says $100 trillion.
100 trillion. Is that real?
I don't know if
It's real.
100. I can't think of a bigger number than that. Like, it's a quadrillion. This comes after.
Yeah, I think so. That to me, that's two things. One, that's like, that's pretty funny, meme wise. Two, oh my god, how we have absolutely destroyed Africa and its economy. And three, that's the most American thing I think I've ever heard, is buying purchasing a dollar that we ruined, being like 100 trillion.
This is hilarious.
Look at how funny this is. These people live in abject poverty.
I'm not part of the problem. I merely just exist in the same country as the people who started the problem.
Oh, honey, let's go cast our vote for George Bush, shall we? Fucking gross.
So it started, in 1983, the exchange rate was 1-to-1. A few years later, in 97, it had, what would you say? Not doubled, but times by 10. It was to 10. Multiplied by 10. Fast forward to March of 2005, it's 10,000 to 1. Fast forward to July 2006, it's over 500,000 to 1. And then you fast forward to November 2008, that's hundreds, thousands, 669 billion to 1.
What did you just fucking say to me?
669 billion to 1.
Okay. So
they had a problem, clearly.
It no longer exists.
Yes, I think they discontinued it.
Yeah, no shit.
They're sold as collectibles.
I would love a Zimbabwean dollar. I had like a gag gift one, I think, at one point.
I had a Santa $1. There was no legal tender.
You didn't spend it at a store?
No, maybe I tried. I don't remember how old I was when I got it.
Maybe I tried. What were you trying to buy?
You walk into Toys R Us.
If I was young enough to try and spend it, I was trying to get like a candy bar for like $1.50 or like $2.
Candy is so expensive now. Crazy.
I know.
It's like $4.
Okay, let's stop talking about the inflation on the rupee. Can we talk about the inflation on candy these days?
Dude,
just candy.
Corporate
inflation.
Greed, this is real. Corporate greed is killing America. And you can see it no better. There's no better place to see it in how much a fucking candy bar costs.
It's now a luxury I cannot afford.
It is a luxury.
A necessity.
I used to be able to get a fucking Reese's on my way out of the fucking grocery store. If I want to keep my kidney, I am no longer getting a Reese's on my way out of the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? Like
my mind jumped to Butterfinger. That sounds.
Butterfingers are so good.
Butterfingers were so good back in the day. Back in the before times.
Back before it cost $10 a bar.
Well, also, I keep getting. You know what? It's fucking. We're talking about Slumdog Millionaire. I can do my fucking poverty rant. You're telling me you can only afford to pay these chocolate farmers like a cent. You know what I mean? You can only fucking afford to pay these chocolate farmers, these cocoa bean farmers like a cent, Nestle. And then I'm paying fucking $6, $7 for a fucking king size candy bar. You're fucking ludicrous. You're ludicrous with that shit.
If you say it one more time, he shows up.
Just ludicrous. Ludicrous. Ah! Oh god.
No.
Get out of my house. Abel, this is where you would edit in like a Ludacris song, like he's singing like a little 6-second clip of a Ludacris song being sung in my microphone.
I don't think we can handle.
This is where you're good at it.
Universal Music Group.
Oh, that's true.
Did you guys know that the Slumdog Millionaire soundtrack is the Oscar award-winning soundtrack is not available on Spotify in the US? Just not there.
Are you
It's a
fucking
great
serious?
soundtrack.
Yeah, I looked for it. Not there. I'm annoyed. I wanted to listen to Jai Ho. Jai Ho!
Well, I think
Wait,
we just got
is that-
we just got
is
a
that at
perfect
the end?
rendition right there.
Speaking of, this is like the dance sequence at the end. It's like
Oh.
we're watching a fucking Shrek movie. Like, I
Ah, it's
forgot
like
that
watching
was
a
in
Bollywood
there.
movie.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah,
It's a
fucking
Bollywood movie.
Bollywood. Ugh. Okay, you're in jail for that one.
Took me like 2.5 seconds, and then I got it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I agree with Carter."
No, yeah,
The longer
fucking-
it takes, the better it is, dude.
Shrek definitely, Bollywood definitely stole the idea of a dance sequence at the end from Shrek and not the other way around. That's for sure. That
For
I know
sure.
for a fact.
But is it a Bollywood movie?
No, but they're doing
No.
a Bollywood movie thing.
Yeah,
They're paying homage, young Abel.
Okay.
was that not
Okay.
clear? That's what I interpreted it as.
Danny Boyle, famous Bollywood director Danny fucking Boyle. Hello, you know how you live in abject poverty? Well, I'm here to steal to steal your fucking directing jobs too, eh? There you go.
poverty.
British accents. It's way too easy to say abject poverty in a British accent, and that is fucked up.
That's like the easiest way to sound privileged. Like British accent and then say abject. I've never heard abject like in any other context.
Abject terror.
Abject.
Abject awesomeness.
No. No, Mason, no. It's just for bad things like terror and poverty
Okay.
and ball swelling.
Abject ball swelling.
I don't know. I couldn't think of anything.
Abject permanence.
You have a condition you want to tell us about?
I'm stupid.
What's your favorite quote from this movie, Carter?
That was smooth, Abel. That was smooth moving into the next segment. I dug it.
Transition skills 100.
That's like that kid who would put the fucking PowerPoint transitions when we were like in elementary school, when it would like star wipe in and you'd be like, whoa.
It's a
The first
cube
time I
that
saw that, I
zooms
was
out
like-
and rotates and
Yeah.
zooms back in.
Takes
then
like
he-
7 seconds.
He really like, it was the kid who figured out the settings really early, like before the rest of us, and he would like make it like 7-second transition.
It's a 7-second transition, and then each text like flies up letter by
Yes.
letter.
It's a huge animation to every.
He figured out how to use word art before everybody else. Guys, I figured out how to change the wallpaper on the school computer.
Look, it says butt on the school computer.
Like 3 weeks later, the substitute teacher's like, all right, can you help me figure out the fucking projector? Yeah, they're always just like, is there a computer guy in this class who can like help me figure out how to get this set up? And then there's that one kid who's just, me!
Abel,
It's that fucking kid.
I mean this. I obviously know you better now. When we first met in class, you gave that vibe so hard.
What did I do? What did I do?
It was the I think I was your TA, right? And you asked me a question about the switcher. And you had the glasses, and I was just like, oh, it's this kid. And then I actually got to know you, and I was like, oh no, this dude's a drunk EDM dude. Never mind.
I was asking a question. I didn't know.
I know. It's just so funny. Okay, I gotta stop laughing. I gotta say my best quote. My favorite quote. There are much better quotes from this movie, but my favorite quote is after Jamal gets beat by the cab driver. The American couple stops the cab driver from beating him. He says something like, "This is what happens here." Da da da. And and the woman goes, "Well, this is the spirit of America, honey." And she nods at her husband to give him $100 bill.
Was it 100?
It was
Holy
100.
shit.
That's how he got the Benji.
Uh-huh.
Maybe it was Zimbabwe dollars. Maybe they got Benjamin Franklin on the Zimbabwe dollar.
I don't think so. The $100 trillion I saw had rocks on it, so I don't think Benjamin Franklin.
Easily confused.
When they were taking the tires too, the one ringleader kid was like, "Come on, F1, Schumacher." And Michael Schumacher's a famous F1 driver. He's like, "Rapido, come on."
They're the best pit crew. Honestly,
That
F1
was a quick pit crew. Yeah.
Honestly, F1, you know where to get your next pit crew from. If I'm real,
they'd give them a run for their money.
Oh, for sure. I don't know if they know how to put the tires back on, but you can teach them. That can be taught.
There was an Indian F1 team a couple years ago called Force India, and I think the CEO I can't remember if he was being like investigated for fraud or if he went bankrupt, but yeah, the team no longer exists.
That's rough.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
Our resident European sport expert, Mason Winter.
Resident European Mason Winter.
Resident European.
Abject poverty.
Mason Winter's actually a fucking Frenchman. He's been putting on an American accent this whole time.
Oh, Jesus. Don't put French on me.
Yeah, I picked the worst one. I picked the worst Europeans.
Oh.
Sorry to any French listeners, but
Ugh, don't put French on me.
Sacre bleu.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Mason, what was your favorite quote?
It was the police inspector when he is interrogating Jamal. It's finally cooled down a little bit, and he's not like beating him.
He's not actively torturing him.
He's not electrifying him through his toes or any of that stuff. He's like sitting cordially at a seat at a table or at a desk. I mean, the interrogator's like, so all this is about like the girl, and Jamal's like, yeah. And then the inspector is like, money and women, the reasons to make the most mistakes in life. It looks like you're mixed up in both. And I sort of agreed with him because, like, to me, yeah, Jamal, we talked about it earlier. Jamal didn't really care about the money as much as he just cared about Latika and, like, finding her. Like, that's why he went on the show. It wasn't for the money, it was for her. But I thought it was, like, a good summation of just the movie because I feel like that's the two paths we see through Jamal and through Salim. Because I think Jamal takes the path of, like, women, of, like, he wants to just find this one girl he loves. And Salim is kind of like, I want to make money. I want to, like, get out of the slums. And, like, I'm willing to, like, hurt people and be a criminal to do that.
And one of them ends up dead in a bathtub full of money.
And one of them ends up in a Bollywood dance scene to finish off the movie. I also love the flashes in that dance scene to all of the young versions of Jamal and Latika dancing too.
Mm-hmm. All right, Abel, what do you got? Favorite quote? Let's hear it.
Honestly, wasn't a lot of very quotable parts from this movie, especially for a guy like me. I like me a silly quote. Serious ones sometimes, but mostly I like the funny ones. Gotta say, I did think it was very funny when he said, "Since when was there a time limit on a crap?"
Oh, that was good. That was a good quote. Since when is it
fucking locked in there? That was brutal.
Then he don't remind me of that scene. Oh my God.
Okay, yeah, we won't. For the audience, though, Jamal is taking a crap in this outhouse that's basically on a rickety wooden pier.
No, please.
And Salim tries to pawn off his brother's toilet seat to this man who clearly has a distressed stomach and is waving funds just rapidly in front of him. And Salim is like, Jamal, hurry up, get out there. And that's when, Jamal is like, since when is there a time limit on a crap? And obviously the man gets frustrated because he can't crap, takes his money back and leaves. And that's when Salim is mad, locks the door by jamming a chair up under the door. And Jamal's stuck. He's got to get out. Only way out, down. He just got to jump in his crap and everyone else's crap that's ever used that outhouse.
Oh my God. And it's so wet and viscous. Oh my God. Oh, no.
Viscous. Ugh.
He looks like a bigger version of the Peanut Butter Baby. For those of you who know the Peanut Butter Baby.
Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. No. No.
It's like mud. Like it's not even like crap because it's just mixed with the water for so long.
For sure, that's what they used. They were like, let's just slather them in mud.
Yeah.
Well, I might actually throw up. I might actually.
Carter, don't vomit.
The rest of the show is just me going.
Triggers my gag.
It's
Sorry for those of you who are sensitive.
Yeah, apologies.
Sorry for those of you who are sensitive.
Haven't you met those people who are like, we'll just gag at the slightest
they're just
thing?
overall sensitive, not to like anything in particular.
Oh yeah.
Just fucking, they're crying right now. They're
shout out to all the sensitive people.
Mason, you shouting out the sensitive people is great.
Oh yeah, my brothers, my brothers and sisters in arms.
My sensitives. That's what our listeners are called, actually.
The sensitives.
The sensitives.
That's good. That's good. That'll actually keep a type of man away from listening to this podcast. So I'm all for it. I'm totally
smash
for it.
that subscribe button to be part of the sensitive army.
The sensitive army.
Exclusively comprised of people who didn't make it through boot camp.
And not for any physical reason, just because they cried.
They just didn't want to.
Yeah, they were like, "This
My
is too
mom made
much."
me do it.
Oh god. Well, I think that's our favorite quote. Do we want to give it a rating? Do we want to give
Yeah.
Slumdog a rating?
It's rating time, baby.
It's time for ratings. Ooh yeah. That's the theme song.
Clip that. That's the intro for every time. Just play that, please. That's so
auto-tune
good.
it or something.
Yes. Tune it up. Okay, that's it. So now we have our final.
Shit.
Yeah.
Why am I some kind of fucking soundbar to you guys? I'm already the fucking censorship noise. Why am I also the theme song?
Because
nobody asked you to sing, but you did.
It was
You
electric.
have it. It's royalty free.
Fuck. I go home. I copyright it real quick. I get a copyright. Okay.
You copyright strike our
would-
podcast, I'll lose my money.
Yeah, Mason, what would you give this?
I was the one who originally suggested this movie, because it was one I really enjoyed growing up. There are a couple flaws I'll acknowledge, like pacing wise. Things will just like happen very fast. I also like certain things. Like there was one that I thought was done well. The transition where they like fall off the train and like roll in the dirt, and then they're older and they're in front of the Taj Mahal.
And then they're preteens somehow.
Yeah, they're older. But I think I would still give this movie. I think I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Same. I would also give this movie an 8 out of 10. I like the themes of the, abject poverty. Yeah, it's a good, like, grounded story, and I really liked just the framing device of having this game show be kind of I'm gonna watch this movie about this guy who makes a lot of money on a game show, but it's really about his life, and the game show is just kind of a framing device. I think that's a really unique way to tell a story. The ending was okay. I don't know what I would have done differently, but I just wasn't as satisfied at the end as I feel like I could be. But overall, I really, really like this movie, and I would also give it an 8 out of 10. How about you, Carter?
I'm going to give it, you know how I like to do the math on averages. I'm going to give it an 8.5 so that it comes out to a B plus instead of a B. Yeah, this movie's great. It's, I'm going to have to watch it again. I watched a very poor quality version off of YouTube, so I will have to watch it again because I really didn't get to appreciate the visuals. But like even on that low quality version, I could see them. I couldn't fully make out and like say with complete authority that they were great, but like just looking at it, I was like, this color scheme seems sick. If I could actually see what was happening, I would be very impressed.
How were the parts where like the guys were speaking Hindi? Was it?
I was able to. Yeah, those were clear because they were like
Okay,
high contrast. It was good. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's such a good movie. It's got such a good framing device. It's like a framing device within a framing device. Like I was saying, it's a story. It's supposed to be showing us what poverty looks like framed within a love story, framed within a game show.
Mhm.
It's really great. It's a very good story. It's very well acted. I'm gonna give it an 8.5. I love this movie. It's great.
All right. Well, that rounds it up to like an 8.13 or something. Have you guys been watching anything good lately?
I just started watching the show The Terror, the AMC show The Terror.
I've never heard of that.
It's one of those like horror things that is just based off a real story. So the British government sent 2 ships to find a passage from Europe to the Americas through the Arctic because they thought they would find a shorter trip that would be easier because British explorers of that era were, what's the word? Oh, fucking dumb. So the real story is that the ships were never seen again. The last time they were seen was at this like point very far north, and probably what happened is the ice froze because it became winter in Antarctica, and the ship sank, and everybody drowned and died. Right. The story is about some Inuit. I think it's based off an Inuit legend about a protector or something of the region. I haven't looked into the mythology, and I haven't finished the show. But basically, they're attacked by a giant mythical polar bear, and it's killing them all off one by one. And it's awesome. And I haven't finished it, and it's great. So yeah, check it out. Fucking Terror.
That sounds good.
What about you, Abel and Mason? What do you got?
I have been listening to the recently released Kendrick Lamar album, GNX.
Mustard!
That part has got to be one of the hardest I've laughed while listening to an album that isn't particularly funny in any other part of it. I felt like the last Kendrick album, Mr. Morale, was a little like it was fine, but I like songs that go hard, and there weren't a lot of songs on there that went hard. This album, every song goes hard, and the beats they all sound like Not Like Us in like a good way. Like they all are very in that like West Coast California like hip hop style, which is really cool to hear Kendrick do it, even though he's from the West Coast. Like has probably been surrounded by that music his whole life. It's really interesting to hear him do a whole album on those kinds of beats because he doesn't really do that very much. If you like rap at all, definitely check it out. I would give that album a 9.
Damn.
The best song on it's got to be Reincarnated. He's like having a conversation with his dad, I believe. And so he's like rapping back and forth and has like a different voice for him, and it flows really nice. And then the song TV Off is the song that has the mustard sample in it.
My dad would not shut up about Reincarnated
Yeah.
the entire time I was home for Thanksgiving.
It's really good.
It's good, but I was like, all right, man, we get it. You fucking like, we got it.
That's hilarious, actually. Is your dad like a hip hop head?
No, he's a history teacher. So he likes Kendrick a lot. He likes a lot of Kendrick stuff, which I think is good. I think Kendrick is great. I am not a hip hop head, but Kendrick is good. I did get to a point where I was like, yeah, Dad, we got it. There are themes in the song. We fucking get it. But
What about
anyway.
you, Mason?
For those of you who like watch F1, I guess we have to congratulate Max Verstappen, 4-time world champion now. I'm bored of watching him win. I want somebody to contest this motherfucker. What have I been listening to? They said it was gonna be the final Juice WRLD album. I've been listening to that. Been enjoying that.
Album artwork is atrocious. It is.
You don't like it?
Awful. It looks like a failed AI generated Juice WRLD album artwork.
It's made by a famous artist.
Yeah, I know it's the graduation guy.
It's Takashi Murakami.
Yeah, it looks like an AI generated thing
What is
based
this?
off
What
of
is-
his old artwork.
What is this album called?
It's called The Party Never Ends 2.0. He met Takashi Murakami, and I guess they had like collaborated and talked about doing an art piece. And I think this is basically what Takashi made from that conversation, and then they used that as the album artwork.
Looks kind of like a bored ape.
I think it's a little bit better than a bored ape. Is it? It's the fucking. Is it this Muppet one?
It's Juice WRLD standing in front of a crowd of a bunch of random creatures, and there's a planet in the background. It's the Earth, but it has rings on it, and it's smiling.
It's a smiley face.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. Is the actual artwork the one where he looks like a person, or the one? I'm getting two pictures. I'm getting one where he looks like a Muppet and one where he looks like a person.
Does he have spiked teeth and the rainbow in the mouth?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
It looks. I think it looks a little bit better now that I'm looking at it in a higher definition of wherever I saw it first, but it's still not my thing.
I like it. I was gonna. Now that you brought up the artwork, I will bring up my only gripe with the artwork, because like I love Juice WRLD. Don't get me wrong, but I know what he looked like, and my brother, you had a belly. You did not have abs. Don't be lying out here.
Juice WRLD was not a bodybuilder.
No.
Mason,
was not-
Muppets can take any shape. It's what you feel you are, is what your Muppet persona is. All right, Mason? Leave it be.
Okay. The last thing that I had been watching is, and I thought you guys would be interested in this. Recently, there was a UFC event that was in, I think it was Macau. Her name is Shi Ming. She is a fighter who, I don't know if she won Fight of the Night bonus, but she debatably had one of the most entertaining fights of the night where she head kicked somebody and knocked them out. And then she also continued to go viral over the past few weeks because people started to figure out her backstory through interviews. Fighting is not her main profession. She is a doctor, like a full-time doctor.
What the fuck?
And her Chinese parents don't know that she fights.
What did you just
And
fucking
she
say?
literally is in the UFC.
Wait a fucking minute. Wait a goddamn minute.
Dude,
What did you just fucking say to me?
this chick is wild.
What do you mean she's a doctor? What does that
She's
mean?
a doctor.
What does that fucking mean?
She practices medicine.
She practices medicine and then she's like, hey, what if I kick this bitch in the head?
And then
Is
she's
that-
like, I'm gonna work at this hospital. What if I put you in a hospital?
Yeah, what the fuck? Hey,
What if you got knocked out and then you woke up and the doctor treating you was
She's the
fucking
one
person?
flashing the flashlight in your
dude,
eyes.
she's like giving you a fuck. She's checking you for CTE, and you're like, huh? It's like a nightmare. You think you're in a nightmare dream?
I must be dreaming.
What the fuck, dude? That'd be terrifying.
She's like, no, all the other nurses were busy, and I was fine after our fight because I knocked you out. So I was like, I'll check them out.
That's like me and Mason go through a hike in the woods. We get mauled by a bear. We come back and the bear is like has a scalpel over us, and he's like, oh, something bad happened. Oh boy,
Want
I
a
gotta
glass
fix
of
this.
water?
He's over you, and I'm like to the right of you, bandaged up already.
You're bandaged so that I can't see you're alive. You're just mummified, and I'm like, no, let me go.
Oh no, Shelob is about.
The bear put me in a full body cast, literally. Fucking,
Abel's a pun machine tonight. This is ridiculous.
I believe it's time for the wheel.
I believe you are correct, Mason. Are you fucking ready, man?
Computer, lock in, spin the wheel. That is correct. We're spinning the wheel.
That's fucking correct. You just won 2 million rupees.
Oh my god.
Let's see, Carter, I believe it's your turn to spin the wheel.
I believe so.
Alrighty.
You just give.
All right, we're gonna spin in 3, 2, 1,
I object. I'm just-
and we gotta. Oh, parents wouldn't let you watch.
Parents wouldn't let me watch.
Yeah, what's a good parents wouldn't let you watch movie?
This is a tough one for me. There's not a lot of things my parents wouldn't let me watch. Oh, you know what? This one, me and my siblings watched it so much that my parents did ban it for a while. This is real. We got this one on DVD, but we watched Ponyo probably 800,000 times. And so my parents banned us watching Ponyo.
Really?
Yes. We would watch it. I swear to God, there was a period of time where I would get home from school and my little siblings would go, let's watch Ponyo. Or I would come home from school and I'd go, let's watch Ponyo. And for probably a month and a half straight, we watched Ponyo probably every other day.
Holy shit.
I don't know why. It is just a thing that
Did
happened.
you guys have it on DVD?
We did. We had it. It was a DVD we had, but we had tons of other DVDs. I don't understand.
It's like, enough with this freaky fish fuck.
Thank you for doxing my dad again. That's good.
No, I got you, Carter.
Oh, fucking A. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Ponyo.
All right. Well, we will be back next week to watch Ponyo, our second Studio Ghibli outing for the pod. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and of course YouTube, all at Pacific Standard Guys. No spaces, no underscores, no numbers, or any of that nonsense. Yeah, give us a like, subscribe, comment, whatever you feel like giving to us. And we'll be back next week for Ponyo. Yeah, email us.
Email us, pacificstandardguys@gmail.com. Send some shit in. Send in suggestions. Whatever you want.
Email us whatever.
Yeah. Email us a theme song.
Yeah, please.
All right.
These are getting boring.
Also, if you want to wire transfer any funds, podcast,
No.
totally help.
Don't.
Venmo at Pacific Standard.
Actually, you're
Venmo.
Actually, you're right. Mason, you want a wire transfer, right? Why don't you read out your account number to all the listeners?
Yeah, it is.
Don't forget that routing number too.
Routing number, account number, social security number, just in case they need to answer some questions. You know what I'm saying?
They're not that important. They're just numbers. You can tell us.
You can tell us, Mason.
What are the numbers, Mason?
All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next week.
Take care.